Welcome to Loleventvods. Watch the full game of today's LEC 2025 matchup.
To the LEC, but we'll have to see how he performs in his first game because he is up against G2, and to this day in the LEC, we're not talking about any other tournaments, KC has not beaten G2.
That's right. Not a game. Going up against G2 here, KC on the blue side are not going to get the Skarner. And so that debut is not going to come with any caveats. Another jungler taken away. Ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be hard to get you through this pick and ban, but we'll try. You think I think Karna's enjoying the attention.
Yeah, definitely a little bit louder than he's probably used to, but actually that's not true. He's been with KC for a little bit, so
yeah, true.
We'll have to see exactly what the game plan is. Is it going to be a Varus ban? Is it going to be another one of those AD carries taken away? Is Victor too high a priority, or what is the final ban going to be for G2 in this one?
Well, they're at least not letting the Kalista through. It is also taken away in the Varus this time. Ash as a response. Corky's there, Victor's there. So far, those have been the things on my mind. Ash hasn't been looked at as much as active, but this Victor has been a big priority pick for today, and seeing Flatty on it would be the creme de la creme. See how you use French.
Which means we're probably, nice, c'est magnifique. But I think we're going to get a Corky here on the opposite side. The ability to flex into multiple different roles is pretty nice. Can work well into the mid lane as well against that Victor if you need to, but it's just a very, very strong pick. Alongside a jungler would not be the most surprising here. Skewmond, another new pickup here for a G2 coming through from the LFL. Back in the day, big new one trick. These days, not so much, but still, I think also in a Esports article said he'd be willing to bring it out if he gets the opportunity, but I don't think it'll be on his debut game when it is the misfortune picked up here to go down to Hansam in that bottom lane.
That Yankos sign, I don't know what that just was, but we'll see that again, I'm sure. Misfortune locked in, okay. Jungle question mark still there. Yeah, Skewmon is a new player. And with all the Kesha signs up as well, it's definitely a highlight hover here. But Wukong just still so strong in the patch, and Dagda seeing it once again.
And I'm surprised that we haven't seen more of the Wukong, because this is
once today, right?
Yeah,
or banned, right?
Yeah, but it hasn't. Like, this is such an incredibly strong pick. Great in early skirmishes, fantastic in team fights, especially set up for something like the Misfortune.
Yeah.
And he just comes online so quickly. This is where you can look to try and play off of Caps' pressure, and also look to see what this new jungle support of G2 looks like. What does Lavrov go for? The Rel, as we've already talked about, is a massive pick for Lavrov last year. Is that going to be paired with the Monkey King?
Well, you'd have to think it's a perfect combination on their side, isn't it, for G2? But for now, KC building a bit of range here. The Ezreal for Kalist in his debut. This guy's got the biggest of expectations, so seeing him on something like Ezreal with the playmaking is going to be important here, especially against Wukong, especially against Misfortune. Repositioning going to be crucial, need to say, as we look for that support or jungle here. Yike on his new team, going up against his old team. Are we going to get a priority jungler? Well, Yike on the Sejuani seems like the natural take.
Yeah, just something that can at least disengage, or whenever Wukong tries to go for these fights, bump him and walk away, slow him down so he can't go for the big plays. So I wouldn't be surprised to see the Rel picked up here for Lavrov, especially when you've already got the Misfortune there. It's just such a strong pick. And you can start to ban away things like the Braum on this next rotation. I think it just makes the most sense here for G2.
Right, get that priority support. All smiles from Caps in the meantime as they wait.
No, actually, well, no. Oh, they actually are.
They're
wow.
Gonna run it. This was banned last time into the Victor from Humanoid. They didn't want to give the chance for Jojo to run it, but now Caps gets to.
And it is something that can work well into the Victor. Your mobility makes it very difficult for the Victor to really put you in your place with the gravity field. Also, just the ability to hide in shrouds means that it's a little bit more difficult for Victor to get kind of Q autos off or even land that E as effectively as he could. So we're going to have to see how Caps is able to perform. Plus, also later on, your side laning is insane. So maybe G2 opting towards more of a side lane play here as this starts to go out.
MVP of last year, starting with the Kali game. I like that as well, Dagda, as we get rid of some of those responses, as mentioned, some of the things that stop it, and the Wukong in its path. Poppy begins. Now, you're talking a bit about support before. Let's see if KC get rid of some of those options, like you said, with Lavrov on Rel, which has been pretty strong today.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Poppy and the Braum that I'm looking at, because you want engage here, like follow up for Skewmon or even set up here for Lavrov. So
Bessa.
That's where I'd look. And Bessa, to me, is saying, hey, look, we expect G2 try and go for some strong side laning push, but G2 have also shown they're happy to work in a 1-4 setup with Caps just pushing sides, at least in last year.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see if that is going to be the game plan, but I think, yeah, either way, I think old Mac Falco will get his farm in some regard. It's going to be a monkey, either a horse or a cow. Like, I think that's kind of the triple threat you're looking at here.
Animal, there's an animal farm, yeah. Love this song, Dagda. It's great. I love the energy today. I mean, it's really nice. Like, the fan bases, they're smashing out the chants here. And again, it's been so long since Pro Play. I know in the East it's already started, of course. And you know, we had things like the Master Cup over the Christmas period. But ain't nothing like the LEC, is there? Ain't nothing like our little studio here. Brom goes away. This is something you talk about, bringing it back to the draft. That is the Brom gone. And now I have a sneaking suspicion that G2, if it's available, will just give Lebrov a bit of comfort to start the split off, as one of those tools for Broken Blade is also taken off.
So now the question is, what do you want to try and round this out as a G2? The problem is if you take the Rel, Targamas answers with the Alistar, and then you end up in a good matchup, right? If you take the Alistar, though, you can end up going into some other options here for Targamas. So I think you actually take your top lane here as Broken Blade and leave that counter pick for Lebrov, so we can at least see what the matchup is before he opts into one of these engaged supports.
Finally, we get our answer, though, as well as the KC chance start up to round out this draft. There we go, comfort for Lebrov, played time and time again last year. Got a bit of criticism being like a bit of a one trick on this Rel last year, but to be fair, with how good he was on it, I don't blame him for picking it over and over. We get to see why. He gets to test that here on his new squad.
Yeah, curious now, because you've got a lot of backline access with Wukong, Akali, and the Rel. At least Kalist has that safety in the Ezreal. That's not a luxury afforded to Vladdy, so he's going to have to be very careful how he tries on positions, as Kalist definitely enjoying the chance on the stage there. But this is something that he's well used to. He has played in the LFL for years, which is some massive stages, especially as you start to get towards the later portions of that event. And there we go, there's the Alistar in response. We said, look, you can go for this. It's great to counter the engage that Rel tries to go for with the crash down. So Targamas and Kalist, very safe in that bottom half of the map.
Yeah, I mean, with Targamas on that response, now we just have to see how it rounds out. Good engage, Dagda. But do we have enough damage? What does Kana want to pick up here in this first game?
Probably Cassante.
Probably Cassante. Take Jace, also an option here. And I'm glad you mentioned Cassante, because I think we need another tank on the Rift on the side of G2.
See, the problem is Jace has the flexibility here with what he wants to go for, right? If you go for Cassante, Jace can go for, like, I think we saw it in LCK, which is the Black Cleaver build, into just going for damage. And you're just like, I'm going to ruin you, ruin your turrets, ruin the game every which way that it can possibly be. So now you also have the option to go for tank if you go for something different. So I'm actually not sure what version of this Jace we're going to get. It could easily be full damage Jace, just with the amount of poke Ezreal, Victor, and also that Jace then offer with the already beefy front line. So Greg is opting in towards the disengage here. I don't mind, just to try and maybe push back and open up space in this fight for the engage tools from G2.
A lot of big ult set up now for G2 as well, I might add in as well. Feels like 6 is a big point of contention for a lot of these skirmishes, and I see skirmishes on G2's comp.
I also see another lane swap in our near future, because if I'm G2, I'm like, wait, Gragas is phenomenal in lane swap scenarios. We already have a mega safe bot lane that we can't really bully or play into, so let's just go for the lane swap and see if we can pick off Khan in the early stages, set the Jace behind, and then if he is going for that damage build, Jace is just way less useful than he could be.
True, and don't give time to Vladdy as well if the game can be unsettled enough where, you know, all those skirmishes from G2, I feel like in the past, that's what we knew them for. Last year especially, we knew them for developing their early game. But the early game, I wonder how it's changed when G2 right now are not the same team. Now, we do have an individual investigation in process. There is a pause, as you can see at the bottom. G2 are the ones who have reported it. A software or driver issues is on BDSA. Ladies and gentlemen, the wait is over. KC versus G2, last game of your opening day of 2025 League of Legends here at the LEC is underway.
And this is going to be a banger. Like, you have pure early game team fight on G2. Great side lane control for Caps. The potential to look for those assassinations. Where on the upside for KC, it's all about trying to control the space, control this game.
Yep.
So people like Vladdy and Kalist can pop off. Even Kana again. Still have to wait and see what build he goes. Just because he has grasp does not mean he's tank. But this is the man everyone has been talking about. Kalist has finally joined the LEC after turning over to 18, and just look at the stats that are on the bottom of your screen. This man has been dominating in that region for so long.
Has high hopes. Not only the fans, but analysts across the world are saying that this guy, his domination through LFL, the wait finally being over, they think he can do amazing things.
I think it's the fact that he's so good at playing on a knife's edge. Like, willing to put himself in harm's way. Trust his hands to just go, I'm better than you. I'm going to dodge these skill shots and carry this fight. And it's that killer instinct that makes him incredibly difficult to deal with. So I'm curious to see, can he live up to those highs now? It is a difficult cause, but we're already seeing what we talked about in Champ Selects. G2 immediately opting in for the lane swap. We said, look, your Jace is just not that good in the lane swap scenario, so it's going to be now on Skewmon to see if he can punish Kana on that top side.
As Broken Blade takes a bit of a punish himself. Graga, something we saw last year in the lane swaps that started adjusting pretty well, but Targo's not letting him get anywhere near. Mystic Shot won't connect, but still Broken Blade's all the way back here as we get a split screen to see how these trades will go. G2 for now hit level 2 in their 2v2. Kalist does the same here as he tries to poke out with the next wave.
I do want to take a moment to also hit on towards Skewmon, though, the new member of G2, because I think we're about to see some action from him. Skewmon, an incredible player coming up from the LFL. We already kind of hinted at a new and trick, which does perk well with Kesha, but has grown so much from them. He ran the league. His performance on BDS Academy was absolutely incredible, and it's why G2 immediately put their eyes onto him. Doesn't quite have as many titles in the bank, but Skewmon is no pushover and one of the hottest prospects when it comes towards that jungle.
As you said, on BDSA, the talent that came through from Rika and Genax, it felt like the support that Skewmon was able to provide is the reason this team was so good. It felt like the jungle is
with
what
Paris
made it
as well. Jungle support was insane.
Creme de la creme, right? And so with that synergy, the power that came through from Skewmon was fantastic. The KC fans love that Vladdy's laying into Caps for the time being, but it is range versus melee matchup as Targamas has now moved to top. Kalist has rotated as well as Kana gets his back off.
But the thing is, Kana hasn't got to get any of the CS. He's level 2 because Kalist and Targamas have now moved back up towards his top side, whereas Broken Blade, just a little over level 4 and also getting to this push in. So I think we're just going to see again maybe another role swap where Broken Blade happy to just move back up towards this top side and keep himself in check, as Vladdy doing wonders here against Caps. Caps going to need to go for a reset soon.
Not much Caps can do. Shuriken Flip won't land for the minion, but he gets a back off with TP available. Vladdy going to get his back off as well now that the minion wave meets midway.
So we're actually going to see Australian lanes. You'll be very comfortable here, Jake. As Broken Blade going to move back in towards this bottom side, but I think Kana is in a bit of a dire spot here. Still quite far down to the levels. Sorry, when it comes towards the experience, and also then the nice reset coming through here where you get the extra tier. Going to match Kana's tier picked up by Broken Blade as Ansama.
Yeah, set up there from Targamas. Ansama not going to take his WQ.
So one of the big things for Kalist is already having comfort in this 2v2. He played with Targamas in the EMEA Masters level on Karmine Corp as well. So this was kind of the bot lane that Carmetto and a lot of KC fans were hoping to bring in towards the LEC. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how the bot lane that was so strong at an EMEA Masters level kind of a year ago or so, now looking to going to be better. Skewmon though, spot on award. So I think we're going to look at, resets going to come through for Kalist and Targamas on that top side.
Just look, you can see actually, as I'm finally allowed to touch this machine, 2 wards there, Dagdo. That's not a small circle, but in the bottom side of G2's jungle, KC have put the effort in to spot the pathing here as Skewmon is headed up towards the top, as we said. So good information for KC here to track early jungle path as Targamas now moves towards mid, and Yike, because of that, uses that info to start up the Dragon.
Yeah, because he will end up with push in mid because you've got the melee matchup there versus range, and same in this bottom side. So even Targamas starting to roam down, good position here just to cover in case anything kicks off, but they know Skewmon's going top, so no need to worry about it. And Kalist on this Ezreal is very comfortable to play it safe and just pick up the CS at range.
Playing that fog of war as well as Targamas might have an angle here. Caps could be in trouble, but has his ultimate available, plays the smoke screen so well. Targamas can't find him with the trample, and Caps made that look easy.
And I think it's a great call from Caps because you understand, hey, look, I am level 6. This is the moment Akali becomes very threatening in the lane.
Yep.
So Targamas is trying to see if he can burn either the flash or the ultimate from Caps just to set a little bit of safety for Vladdy in the lane. But G2 now going to answer since Dragon was taken by Yike towards Void Grubs, and I don't think he can really get in here.
Vladdy's got the health bar, but again, as you said, because that ulti's up there, scared, but Targamas says no. He starts trample, and Khanzama with the cleanse out while Yike bops away. Lebrov's engaged. KC with an advantage here, but not before the third grub goes down. G2 got what they wanted, but a kill given over. Trades big. KC with first blood on the board as Caps. Shuriken flip in on top of Vladdy. Goes into the smoke screen again. He's got good damage and a good pathway. Vladdy's dead, and Caps cleaves him in two.
Kalist gets the first blood in his first game, but it's Caps who quickly answers on the opposite side and says, hang on, rookie, this is still my league and you still have to take me down. But it's Kana who's at least getting something for himself on the opposite side.
I love the natural. You shouldn't have stopped yourself tagging. You're about to call him claps again as we look at the replay.
Yeah, this is Targamas gets the engage on towards Khanzama, immediate cleanse. Yike, as you said, interrupts the crash down from Lebrov, but Vladdy's in great position here. Lebrov has nowhere to go. Needs to get to the part of the wall where he can actually flash, but the auto attack from Kalist follows over. Hands and Skewmon are out, but Caps doesn't care. Again, playing around this vision so well. Skewmon comes back in. Caps departs the event thanks to a beautiful assassination, and G2 pick up one for the mid lane in return.
Caps on the board, always the player you want to rely on as well. Let's not forget Dagda last year when G2 were a bit in question in winter. It was Caps who had an insane split. I always remember that Pop Blossom that came through from the legendary mid laner, as he's got level 7 now as well. He's got an Hextech alternator too, so big damage to speak of. Now, one plus from that play was that first blood goes over, start of the feeder strength for KC, but also they got the flash out of Khanzama, who is that misfortune, who could be an easy target for potential upcoming fight.
Yeah, I don't think there's much around though for the moment, so I think Khanzama should be relatively safe.
Okay.
To just try and play in his lane. Only just now ticked over to the level 6, so if they can find a fight, he can also play very far at range, but I think he's just going to go back towards a bit of even Steven. As Kana doing some good damage here.
X-Gates there, he uses it for movement speed. He won't have damage, but he just bops him away. Grass stacks as well, we got to remember. Gained quite easily.
But also, Broken Blade TP'd up for a while ago, so his teleport is not available, which means Kana will manage to get this blade on the top side as well. So sure, some grub or some camp stolen away there, but Kana is really starting to become an issue in those side lane plays for G2.
Yeah, and again, I mean, this Jace has a demolish, so this is easy gold. And Dagda, this is not one play, this is two.
Yeah, it transforms into the melee to get the most out of that demolish proc, and now going to be able to finish off another plate. Reset, can even TP up into that top side if he wants to, but if I'm Kana, I honestly just hold on to this teleport, so then if anything funky happens on the map for over the next little while, like say Void Grubs or Dragon fights,
Gravity field
across.
Chaos Storm comes through. Caps gets out with a Shuriken flip, but there's not enough damage yet.
No, just at the moment it's more about poking Caps out, so he's forced to reset, forced to try and TP back in. You can see now, gonna go for that reset. Dragon in a minute, Void Grubs in a minute. If you're G2, you definitely would like to try and go for these 6 Void Grubs, because Caps is really going to be trying to put hurt on towards Vladdy in these side lane plays, because eventually Broken Blade should just be able to one-shot or clear out these minion waves very quickly away from Kana. If you had the 6 Void Grubs, it makes things significantly easier for Caps to actually take side lane turrets, but I think you're in a bit of a rough spot with Caps being as low as he is, and he's actually looking for the, I think, root in River. I'm not 100%. Actually, no, they're just going to send him bot as Vladdy TP's back into mid, and KC set their sights to the Void Grubs.
BB going to spot out this gank, though, in the meantime. Could be in trouble, but Body Slam is available. A barrel roll to slow down Targamas, and he takes the upward path. Waits, though. He still wants the Body Slam, but he's knocked up. Permafrost there. He gets out eventually, but he's not away. And KC with another. They're going to secure grubs off the back of that.
Yeah, you can see already though, Labrov is in the area, so at least one trying to be maybe snuck away here, but Labrov quickly realizing that they weren't going to spawn in time. So he's going to move back over towards the mid lane. And again, Caps hadn't reset, so he's too low health to really try and push anything on that bottom half of the map. Kana now starting to rotate up, see if they can keep the mid lane play in check as well, as Caps will TP to the bottom lane.
With a Storm Surge in hand, so first item of the game, it looks like, no, excuse me, Revolver also there by Vladdy. While feats of strength going to be start stacking in the objective way for KC as well. Dragon spawns.
I do think this is a little bit of a mistake though, coming through from Kana. I think he should have stayed mid to put pressure onto here, and you can also put pressure onto the top lane tower, because at the moment there's just too many members on the bottom half of the map, so you can't actually defend the turret, so you're just in a position that you're going to lose out here. So Kana, I think, could have put a little bit more pressure down. He could even be covering mid lane now, opening up Vladdy to look for a potential dive in the top half, but still KC in a decent spot here. They should be able to get the tower first.
I hear you, playing sides of the map better, right, as well. It's really important here is Kana just plays moving, I was going to say moving oyster, that's not a thing, but first turret blood might come through regardless here for KC. Didn't know oysters could move, as one turret left, or plating rather, for KC in the top side. Well, eventually, Vladdy's just holding the wave, and Skumont's getting invasive, he gets innovative, and for Vladdy, he gets flashed on with a Cyclone, and at bullet time, he's dead. And Skumont's pathing at his angle, enters his kill.
And this is why you needed to make that rotation as KC, because you leave yourself incredibly vulnerable, because Kana can't really defend the bot lane turret by himself, so Caps gets the free plates. The over-pushed Vladdy gets punished by G2, and you don't get the top tower. Yes, you get some plates, but they could have gotten so much more, and now G2 punishing those little mistakes from KC.
And now we have even turret standings for top and bot as well. As you said, one plate left standing, but bot is close to being won as well. Caps will get the push in here as KC get the reset. BB also with the grubs going to get his push in and get some plating for himself too. So right now the gold slinking in favor of G2 ever so slightly.
Yeah, it should be able to get at least a little bit more on the gold front back for themselves, but I think the real winner is going to be Caps. Like, he was down pretty heavily because Vladdy played a fantastic early game, or at least the laning against Caps well.
Yeah.
But that early kill, now the plates, Storm Surge, and a needlessly large rod, Caps is going to hurt. And if you end up running into someone like Vladdy that doesn't have any sort of magic resist at the moment, he is going to be a serious pain in the backside.
Let's see, because LeBron might be caught out here. It depends if he can crash down over the wall. Kalist damage with Trinity Force doesn't just tickle, it hurts quite a bit as Targamas Hex flashes over the wall. Casey coming from the top side where they have full control right now as Vladdy was thinking about moving up, but Dagny, you can see Caps once again putting the pressure on that bottom side turret.
Yeah, but you can already see Skumon is starting to move down towards this bottom side as well, so you have to invest members, if you are KC, into defending this bottom side, which is why you see them drifting down, because Caps can potentially one-shot Vladdy without any sort of flash. And now Targamas, look, I mean, that's what I'm talking about. That damage is insane at the moment. And G2 just keeping control on the map. KC are just kind of running around trying to match in positions that G2 aren't even really threatening just yet, but have the potential to threat.
And again, he's also close to level 11 as well, by the way, and the extra damage off Perfect Execution is big as Gravity Field connects, but G2 are here to cover, and does this turn into a dive is the next question, as Skumon takes a turret shot, Labrov will do the same, and now with the health bars, I think not.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what happened there to Skumon. I thought the minions were in range, but he ended up taking a terror shot, so very quickly had to back out because that ramping damage is insane, so they kind of missed their little bit of a window there, but still KC now trying to put the hurt on towards Caps as he just backs away. But there's not really much you can really do here, because G2 can still collapse here.
They can indeed, but Labrov's taking damage. Permafrost sent out. He's just dead. Labrov biting off way too much as Skumon takes a true shot barrage as well. KC with the advantage, and Skumon sent packing, but Caps is like, I'm going in. Shuriken flip, not connecting here, but a shroud down just in case, and G2 running away. They have to flee. KC just took that easily.
Yep, Vladdy not being hit by the Shuriken flip just kind of sent that deal for G2, so now they should be able to move back on towards this bottom side of the map. Skumon hoping he'd have the support of the MF ultimate to set up the play, but now you're kind of just stuck in no man's land as Hansama taking a good chunk of damage. Kinda gonna find Caps in the enemy jungle as well.
Cap's going to find him. He fakes out the Hex Gate. He's not there. Kana, remember, is tanking up, but only a tunneler available. Shuriken flip doesn't connect, though. Explosive Cask, or rather blast from Kana, not going to connect either.
Yeah, wasn't sure if Broken Blade was about to come over the wall, so just wanted to try and get back to turret for Kana, but ended up making his way safely there. It is going to be just a couple seconds now, though, until Rift Herald is up, and this is kind of the major problem that a lot of people are talking about with this patch is everything spawns very close in time. So you got Rift coming up, you got Dragon coming up, you've got these objectives that you can look to trade on opposite sides of the map, and it's a case of how much effort do you want to try and put into Dragon stacking if you're KC? Because I definitely think G2 are going to be looking for those Rift Heralds. This is a team that likes to try and snowball their leads through gold into side lanes. And especially when you've got the Akali there, that's exactly what you want to do, is try and get down these early turrets and open up the potential for Akali to sneak in behind enemy lines.
Like scouting out for Kana, who's pacing this game quite well. As we saw in topside earlier on. Dragon now spawning 15 seconds as Herald does the same in the topside meanwhile. I'm not going to talk about Arakan because it's the same one we're going to see for about 3 weeks straight. Unless something crazy goes on as Broken Blade's slowed down. Kana is low on mana but might have enough to get the job done. Explosive cast though. BB, he's got enough mana to do exactly that as well as... Yep, that's tank Jace for you. Well, he's not tank Jace at this point anyway. But still, that's just Jace for you at the point of being.
Yeah, should be able to with the demolish maybe.
I mean, this is KC, beats the strength. There they go. So first turret goes down. G2 weren't able to access bot, and Dagda, big win here as Kalist is going to get spiked up. Caps goes in and takes him down. Welcome to the LEC. It's clap style.
I thought he was going to be able to outplay Caps there. His team was on the way. But again, just that one step too far. Didn't expect the shurikens to hit, the 5-point strike I should say, because still had the flash, still had the barrier. But again, it's a difference between EMEA Masters and Caps.
Well, he's 2-0 and he's already running this game. He's been set up by G2 to do so as they start the Dragon. KC are coming to this second fiddle without their 80 carry, but he will have a true shot barrage as he spawns in 2 seconds. As Lebrov is the target again. He's not that tanky, and KC makes light work of him. There's going to be a TP flank, but G2 have already lost members. It's Caps and BB in the same play. Vladdy's the target. Shuriken Flip doesn't connect. Skewmont is chasing Yike, and it's a broken apart fight. But speaking of broken, the blade is down. It's a trade again, but there's no jungler on the side of KC, while Broken Blade and Lebrov ended up dying.
The health bars on KC's side, though, are a little bit better, so I'm not sure how much they're going to try and commit towards pushing in these waves and maybe look for a turret, but Kana going to move back to him towards the bottom lane. He's going to push that one out. Kalist pushing in mid will just give them a little moment of respite to keep themselves in check.
He's classy with it, though, isn't he? I mean, Caps clean stuff on the Akali. Well, we come back to this Dragon fight, Dagda, and yeah, Lebrov is just not tanky at all.
No, not able to really operate here. Gets the stun on towards Targamas, but you're not really going to be that tanky as the Rel in this position. Skewmont tries to go in. It's a good stun coming through from Yike to prevent a little bit of it, but he still ends up taking the brunt then of the damage from Hansama's ultimate. And on the opposite side, Broken Blade just goes into a CC chain to end it all. But
Targamas flash engage onto Caps, but he can't seal the deal. I mean, Vladdy tries to use his range to help out as KC use that set pressure to get the turret and the Dragon in one fell swoop.
Yeah, at least they will push Caps back, but Skewmon going to answer with the Rift Herald on the top side. Broken Blade, I think, should be able to get the tower as well. I'm pretty sure that one's low on top of it. So you're getting at least the tower trades on opposite sides, the objective trades. But again, you have to see, can KC turn that Dragons into potential value in the future? Or what are we going to do with a Rift Herald here for G2? Potential take on the mid lane turret could be the call after these next resets.
G2, I mean, in this early game, it does feel like it's Caps versus, you know, the rest of the team right now, considering that Kalist got early gold, that Kana is actually 500, almost 600 ahead. I might pause on my breakdown of where the gold's sitting because Targamas is looking to make a play again, being very proactive with 5 out of 5 kill participation on this Alistar. Been running amok here in the enemy jungle.
Yeah, and again, it's kind of been because he's with that Ezreal.
Yeah.
You get the opportunity to just roam around, and Targamas has been doing a good job of linking up with Yike, being in the positions that he wants to be. It's just that G2, this is the problem playing against them, that sometimes they're just that step ahead, where they kind of read, oh, you know that we want to play bot, you will then be bot.
Yep.
So we just won't actually play for the bot lane tower, we'll go and play top instead. And I think that's where the mind games can be a little bit tricky as KC once more, trying to make sure they defend Kana on this bottom side. But they just need to find ways to get these minion waves past the river so they can actually look towards that mid lane turret to take for KC.
Maybe the Trailblazer just picked up by Targamas will help out as well, especially with some of the roaming you were talking about, thanks to his 80 carry. As that'll help out quite a lot here as well. I'm looking towards timers, by the way, and just quickly, Atakan is now spawned.
Yeah, it's also the 4% increased movement speed you're going to get because of the feats of strength onto the Swifties.
Oh, yeah.
Now that multiplicatively works with the Trailblazer, he's going to be very, very quick. And may need to be in this case.
Doesn't matter too much. His body slam is there. Explosive cast finds him. There's a crash down. He pops the unbreakable will though, so he'll survive for a little bit longer, but at a low health bar, maybe it matters not. Herald also gets the mid lane turret while the cow drops down. And that's just good beat for you right now as Cap's going to take the 1v1. Carter's got the health bar, and I worry for Caps here while we look towards top. The Flash Cyclone catches Yike, and the old jungler of G2 is sent packing against the wall while Caps dies. But it's going to be the trade-off for the jungler. While you're on the top side, does that open up G2 to the Atakan? I don't think so, Dagda.
It's got to open up a wound for Yike, though. Skewmon being the one to set up the kill onto Yike. Definitely going to be taking that one a little bit personal as Kalist desperately trying to respond. TP coming through from Broken Blade, though.
But it's slow as anything. It's like standing in the line at the groceries and there's 5 people ahead of you.
But if she could get the pennies out eventually, she'll be able to pay for the lottery tickets.
I'm going to a different line. This is rubbish. I mean, we have self-checkouts in Australia. I'm just saying, here in Berlin.
We also have self-checkouts.
Some here. Some here. But the places near me.
Okay, yeah. The technology doesn't exist. Yeah.
And they just throw it past the scanner like so fast. I got to catch it.
It's also, I've noticed in Berlin, they're very small ends of the checkout.
Who thought
so you
of
gotta
that?
like, yeah, I don't know. It like in Ireland we got the big ones, so you got the time to stay packing.
And people are a little bit more delicate with the eggs, you know. Just
well, KC needs to be delicate in this situation because G2 are definitely going to be roughing up a couple of their eggs in a second. It feels like as you got Dragon down for a little bit, but still control over this top side for Atakan is pretty important.
Well, wait, because KC as they move up, I guess they're kind of waiting for more of these item windows. I said that, but that was before I actually saw that everyone in KC has 2 items there.
It's gone pretty well, actually,
Yeah, so I think the windows now. I mean, I could say the same about G2 as well, as Han Summer has kind of creeped ahead in this game. As Caps, he's going to take the Krug, and he might even take Yike. And, you know, before when I said it's personal, Cap says yes, indeed, but Yike is too tanky to take down as he pushes him out of his own jungle and gets a wave in his stead.
I think that was favorable for Yike because he got the Heartsteel proc.
True.
You know what? As like any real Ram enjoyer will tell you, it's always worth for the Heartsteel proc. The boss flashes for Heartsteel procs. Yike didn't even have to do that, and he got an ultimate from Cap. So honestly, I think a big win there.
You definitely take that, don't you? As Kalista starts peeking out. I mean, everything is about this top side, isn't it? Because Baron spawns in 2 minutes. Setup getting ready. The Atakan as well to be launched into it as Dragon. Probably less than a minute away. Remember, top right is not working today, so we are looking towards a Hextech Soul Dagda. Are we? Yes.
Yes.
I believe so. I can confirm that for you momentarily.
It is XX, sorry.
I'm just confusing myself. It could
okay.
be anything.
At least it's not an ocean. It's okay. But Yike, gonna be found again by Skewmon.
We don't like ocean.
It's kind of.
I feel like Cloud Soul's the most broken, right?
Cloud Soul's pretty good, yeah. Especially with the new boots.
Look at our observer trying to be sus,
soon.
by the way. Look, they're like, I'm gonna help you. Look at them.
Oh,
look at
yeah,
them.
there we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, observer. I know you're trying to make it subtle. It doesn't help when I talk about it, does it? As KC moves a 5-man unit into River. We don't talk about the bad things today. As
nothing about you is subtle, and nothing about KC taking control of this area is subtle.
They're on the board.
But Caps is in a very good spot, and he has been ever so silent getting into the position. I think Kana, in it, kind of realizing Caps would love to have this route in towards the back line, but now Kalist and Vladdy, very safe. Kana is not a tank Jace though, so Caps can also look for the kill on him.
Honestly trying to get their range, and he does on Han Summer as Dragon's at 5k.
Oh,
this could decide the game. Dagda mentioned as Broken Blade wants to come in and find his angle. Caps is stuck into the brush, and now he sees Kana, the all-ins there. Labrov has done exactly that onto the front line as well, but he's taken down an instant, and Caps is dying too. The blue wall has struck lightning of G2 as a knockup is easily done, and Kalist blasts for another. G2 are routed, and KC have done the unthinkable.
The pincer was not strong enough to hold back the wave that is KC, and now they will move over towards a third dragon. Kills onto Kalist, and KC are coming alive in this final game.
Pulling apart the fight so well, now with their third dragon of the game as well, and Baron has just spawned. This mid-wave will die. I think KC have a date up in the top side of the map.
It's curious which date it will be though, because the moment it's blind. Is it a Baron? Is it a look at Atakan? You can already see Targum is starting to move up towards that Atakan to get vision. Lebrov going to try and clear some of that out. Still, you know ultimates available basically on opposite side, so I think you do need to wait for some of these to be up, but I think G2, like the fact that kind of spotted out Caps really destroyed a lot of this play. Lebrov doesn't quite get the engage that you want in tandem with Broken Blade, and it means that that disruption, that lack of synergy that just takes time to form for a squad isn't there. And G2 fall in the fight against KC.
Big shutdowns given over. 3 different roles it looks like as well. And when this young AD carry came onto the Rift, I mean, he set up with first blood. Things have been quiet for a while, but after that fight, he has reaped the benefits. A 3rd item coming, and you know what? He hasn't disappointed so far with a high bar. High expectations were set as well. I think so far, delivering in his opener as he heads, as I said before, as his 3rd item to match the rest of KC with Italy.
One misstep against Caps, but since then, he has been very strong in these team fights and consistently finding the position he needs to be in. Targamas gonna spot out Caps.
Yeah, he's in trouble actually. I mean, Caps
here.
was looking for a long way around. Shuriken Flip is nice, but the perfect execution takes it and gets out! Slick as anything, he's got the Hex Gate as well. You don't mess with Caps.
That was beautiful from Caps. Draws 3 members down and now gives G2 a ton of control over this top side of the map. Caps still has that TP to try and come into the fight, but now you lack a major engage tool. Hansama trying to draw Atakan out of the pit. Yike, here to spot it out though.
Things are looking a little bit dire. I mean, Caps does it again. What can you do but respect this mid laner? The best Western mid laner. Level 15 now. And I'm wondering where that blasting one goes from there, Dagger. He stayed in the wave, so he's just absorbing a bit more gold. But I'm assuming we should see a 3-item Akali pretty soon as well. 16 Akali. Maybe in 2 waves time too. Maybe this wave.
I mean, Nordic myths exist, but it's the Danish myth of Caps that is for so long that legendary play that has made him a staple in the LEC. And look, Callisti is trying to join those ranks, but it is still a far cry from the title after title that Caps has picked up and now showing it once more when the chips are down and G2 need him to step up in their first game of 2025. But it is still a far cry away from a victory here for G2, and Callist firing back in and of himself, keeping Lebrov at bay, trying to find that moment where KC can strike back.
He's got his Shojin now, by the way, so a little bit more health, a little bit more bruisery on the Ezreal with the Trinity Force helping out there as well, but item Ezreal, good damage coming through. I'm also waiting for Vladdy when he builds this 3rd item with a Blighting Jewel in hand. And we've just added a blasting one to that as well. So this Victor, I mean, we're expecting similar type of burst if KC, you know, get that dream, Dagger. You talked a little bit about the range, the poke in this game. We do have a damage J, so it applies to what you said at the very start of this game, where KC's range, I mean, their poke is going to start getting more brutal and brutal.
But here's the problem. It's not about the range. It's about holding on to your towers. This guy is making a mockery of the side lanes right now because nobody can really deal with them. Caps is strong enough to essentially one-shot anyone because you don't have someone tanky.
Right time.
KC, want to go?
They do. They found Skumon. He gets a Cyclone out, but he flashes immediately. He's in the wrong place at the wrong time, and KC know that he's got to go down the wrong rabbit hole if they want to get the kill, but they don't find him. Broken Blade gets in the way. Atakan does the same, and G2 just back away while KC tried to find their pick.
It's 2 ultimates down though, so G2, if they can wait for Skumon to get back out of the map, they're in at least a decent spot. If they want to try and look for a fight. Callist just going to move back, and you can see both these teams, no one really wants to commit. Everyone just testing the water, see what they can try and get. A flash now burnt on towards Skumon makes him less of a threat in fights coming if KC can once more just get in a position to look for it. But again, you've got dragons that are going to start spawning. You've got barons, you've got Atakan. And in a new map, I think I rate Soul, but how do you rate it versus an Atakan versus a potential Atakan into a baron? There's so much here that you've got to try and juggle as KC, and I don't think there is a fully right answer.
I think that's what throws it up into the air, isn't it? Again, this new patch, there's so much going on. One fell swoop, one bad move, and it's objective after objective that leads into an easier fight. As you said, Soul could be important, but also, if we get one fight around the top side of the map, it's going to lead to that double objective as G2 want to deny the Soul at the very least, give less tools to KC.
Double TP's coming in though. KC, can they try and get in here?
Caps.
Yike.
Permafrost is there. The poke not there. I'm waiting again. The flash over the wall. Almost
Bloody gets it!
I said almost because it wasn't Yike, it was Vladdy with a damn laser.
It's KC's mid-jungle getting into the pit that keep G2 at bay.
And
now they're going.
slow. They've got the slow and the permafrost as well. KC land ability after ability, and with the Hextech Soul, they find a lot, but Caps on the back end has found Kana. In fact, he's separated from his team. He flashes away, but Lebrov with the all-in helps Caps, and he explodes. Caps finds the angle, and G2 see the fight.
Caps wants to reset to TP back into the fight. The calls are playing slow from G2, but KC, they have the slows, and they're starting to walk away. Caps, still in base. I think he's just going to walk up north.
While they do, Kana on a 35-second death timer. G2 walking towards this Baron, it seems, and with Hextech Rift, or Hexgates, I should say, G2 are going to get there a lot quicker than you'd think.
They immediately go for Atakan. You don't really have the tools here for KC to fight back. An ultimate on your bottom lane needs to be the difference maker, but you've got to find the difference against a 5-man strong G2, and I just don't think you can do that right now. Targamas needs to find the engage.
They haven't checked this brush yet. Vladdy's coming in. A barrel roll down. Vladdy, the next spot here, and good damage from Broken Blade. He's taking this Victor out by himself, and they're going to need supporters. Caps is doing the same, but Kalist getting in the way there instead. Turners. Atakan was stolen. The GA's given over to KC, but they're getting destroyed. Broken Blade running away from Kalist, but he can't outrange Kana as G2. G2! Skumon clones. Kana's over the wall, though. He can still do what Kalist failed at as he ranges through. Kana is at full HP, ready to take on the whole team. On the Hansama, getting the flash out is big, but he's got GA. He takes one with him. Kana almost a second. He'll withdraw, but G2, the second objective in a row, stolen from within their grasp.
And now that opens up for Baron. I cannot believe that that steal came through, because it may have just broken open the game. The soul, the Atakan, taken from G2, thanks to Yike, thanks to Vladdy, and now it may just be the game stolen as well.
Didn't we talk about this when he was on G2 last year? We're like, man, Yike, some incredible steals in 2024. Well, now at the turn of this year, he opens game one, doing exactly that. Baron in their grasp, Casp now under there, and he's Caspar because Vladdy has taken him down.
KC, what more could you ask for? Caps is falling at the feet of the new KC, and they are looking at the base.
And the base should fall pretty fast. I mean, Vladdy walks up, KC, the 4-man unit, start approaching. G2 struggling now at the range and the poke of a Hextech Soul and Baron enhanced minions.
But Kalista's mid, and so is Kana. They're just taking inhibitors in their faces. G2 can do nothing in this position. A Baron up wave is next on the menu for topside as Kalist starts to get the poke down.
It started with Spain earlier on. Koi entered the rift big, and KC are doing the same. France now approaching another inhibitor, another Nexus turret, or rather their first thereof, but the minion wave is going to help do the talking.
Noxus is further strong. It is not for the old, and KC are looking strong here against the old guards.
The ramp-up damage is disgusting as Kalist still has the GA for a little bit longer. He's the only one, but the Baron minions, again, are doing all the work. He arcane shifts forward, a bit psychotic, but he knows he'll die and come back. The rest of KC are doing the work anyway, and G2 left with one turret, have to hope to defend. A bullet time great, a cyclone good, but in the end it won't matter as KC still clean up the pieces. Caps there on the defense doing the Lord's work, but Kana untouched until Hansama puts a bullet through his heart. Caps doing good, but in the end, even with the triple kill, the base is in tatters.
Kalist thought he would buy enough if he went forward, but there's not enough in the tank for KC. A Nexus turret stands with a sliver of health. Caps holds onto the game. And it's Darks, we're going for another round.
We are. Man, we started with Rogue Team Heretics. We really ramped up through the day, didn't we? There was one kill in 29 minutes, or two. I'm glad we're not there anymore. Let's watch this again as GA used by Kalist.
And Kalist thought if he could kill Caps, that's it, it's over. Hansama can't really do enough. Yes, he can clear out the waves, but can't get everyone. But because they don't kill Caps, he comes out, immediate ult onto Targamas to set up for the second half of the perfect execution, and he executes perfectly on towards Vladdy, gets the kill. Yike doesn't have the damage to finish him off, and G2 hold on by a sliver.
Well, that one Nexus turret standing, as you said, Dagda. Definitely an appropriate time to let you all know that they do respawn after 3 minutes. So, yeah. Let's see. I mean, again, your Caps has held on, but Elder, as you've just told me or shown me with your finger, is spawning in 30 seconds. So, let's see, will it be decided? Because KC are in a great spot. One mistake from G2 and they'll just enter through mid, through top, hell, even through bot.
All eyes have to be on where Caps is if you're KC. If you can control Caps on this Akali, Vladdy can carry, Kalist can carry, but they might even get off to a phenomenal start. Akali in base, Caps, there are no wards in and behind KC. They've done their due diligence on this one. And now, G2, they have to face check into a very scary KC.
Got a 4-item Victor. That Ezreal the same as well. Fog of War, as you said, the night is dark and full of terrors for G2.
Caps needs to clear this top wave. The second he shows KC can look for the plays. Kalist going forward. He feels it.
Lebrov, Targamas with him as well. In a choke, it won't be enough to dissuade him. True Shot Barrage dodged away from, but Lebrov is now at half HP.
Karna also moving up towards that top side. He's jumped on towards Caps as well. Karna looking to finish off the Akali.
They're going to get Elder Dagda. G2 can't do anything about it unless they go now, but Lebrov is spoken to harshly by Vladdy.
And now Karna has more words for the G2 backline, saying you have to get away from this. This is our territory. This is a new year in the LEC. A Broken Blade is about to find out about it.
Targamas on top, helped by Karna. He's caught out and he's going to die. Execute through. The blue wall is rising, and I don't know how high you can climb, but for G2, the heroes of the LEC, they are taken care of. First it was Spain with Koi, and now with France with the blue wall. KC have entered the rift, have entered the LEC for 2025, and they have taken care of firm favorites in G2. That looks like a bit of a bug. I don't know what to say about this, Dagda. I see no health bars, but now the Nexus after the ace, and KC beating G2 is going to hype you up for this roster once again.
Welcome to the LEC, Kalist.